Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay, we are on Kathoupanishad, Valli 5, verse 15. And this is the last verse of that Valli, very powerful one. And whoever has a book, Meenaji, you want to tell them the page number?
Page 260.
Yeah. And I already chanted, but this is the verse that people, a lot of organizations, including Chinmaya Mission, they call it the Vedic Aarti. They do it at the time. They, instead of doing the Om Jai Jagdish Hare, they take the plate and they say this: Na tatra suryo bhanti na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoya magnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. That's what it is. Okay. So I had told the word meaning. So I'm just going to go over it, what it has, and then we will read Swamiji's. So, so this mantra is used at the time of Aarti. So it's also, this same mantra is in Mundaka Upanishad also, and Shvetashwar Upanishad. So that means how powerful this whole thing is. It is like a Sar of Vedanta almost in this verse, that's why. And in Bhagavad Gita also it is there in chapter 15, I think it's verse 12. So everywhere this is very, very important that we need to know. So what is this verse saying? It is again a subtle language. So we have to understand, because if you just see the word meaning, it may not mean much. But see what the word meaning it's saying is that this factor or Brahman, the sun also doesn't reach there. Okay. That means, what does it mean? The sun cannot illuminate. You know, the sun cannot, firstly, we already know, we have learned that we cannot apprehend or we cannot see or with our senses. The Brahman we cannot apprehend with our senses, right? So now he's telling you, why did they choose the word sun to begin with? Because within the sunlight we see everything. So can I see God in sunlight? And he's saying no. Sunlight ki wahan pahunch nahi hai. See the language that they are using? Sunlight cannot reach, they are not able to illuminate. And so then what is saying that even moon, and why did they talk about it? Because Swamiji was explaining, Tejomay Anandji, that when we don't have the sunlight available to us, what light do we use to see something? In olden days when electricity was not there, then they would see, in moonlight, they would see things at night, right? It can still illumine a lot of things, moonlight. And then there is another form of light is bijli. Jab bijli kadakti hai jor se, so suddenly you can see. You know, it's only for a flash of second, but it illumines everything. Then then now you can take that bijli to the electricity also. Okay, we turn our lights on and we can see things, and also that's another form of light. And then, so sun, moon and stars. Oh yes, stars में इतना ताकत नहीं होती है from जहाँ हम बैठे हैं वहाँ से. Otherwise, stars are more powerful than even the sun, many of them. But जहाँ से हम बैठे हैं, it cannot illumine much, but at least we see the stars, another form of light. So they have covered sun, moon, star, electricity, and the last one is the fire. कोई fire जला दे तो उसमें भी light आती है. But then he's saying कि sun, moon, stars and electricity or the vidyut or bijli doesn't have a reach there. So what are we talking about? The fire. Fire क्या चीज है उसके सामने? Fire cannot illuminate. See how the language they are using is a very poetic language कि वो लोग ही नहीं पहुंच पा रहे हैं तो फायर की क्या औकात है वहां पे उसको illuminate. That's what he's saying. Okay. So somebody has any question? Okay. So then why do they do this thing at the आरती time? Because आरती में हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? आरती हमेशा लैंप के साथ होती है. एक दिया जलाया जाता है और हम लोग ऐसे आरती उतारे हैं. एंड देन मैंने सुना है कि साउथ के जो मंदिर होते हैं ना, उसमें गर्भगृह एकदम अंदर जाके होता है, उसको एकदम अंधेरा रखते हैं वो लोग वहाँ पे. एंड देन यू लाइट दिस लैम्प, और उसकी लाइट से ना वो मूर्ति इल्यूमिन होती है. Okay, so when whoever goes to the south now try to see this, that if you know that उनका जो मूर्ति होती है एकदम मंदिर के बीच में, और वहाँ अंधेरा सा रखते हैं वो लोग, and mainly with these lamps it gets lit. Okay, I don't think they even put electricity over there. You know, lamps से दिए की रोशनी से वो देखते हैं. So it's basically what we are saying when we are doing this आरती, कि मैं आरती से तुमको इल्यूमिन कर रही हूँ. I cannot do that actually, because जो आरती में लाइट है वो भी तुमसे ही मिली है. Remember we talked about this, that all the source of light is you. How can I illumine you with this light? That's the whole how. So in this verse, first is telling ki all these sources of light have no reach over there, and then it's saying, when you say tameva bhanta anubhati sarvam, that everything that shines in this world shines after it, or it lends the light from it. You know, it is the power behind everything. And they are not talking only of the physical light here. Physical light is the most powerful thing for our senses actually, but he's talking about light of knowledge also. Hey, where do we get this understanding and knowledge? Is coming from there. So everything shines behind this also. That's what I say. So take a so now what Tejomay Anandji came with a brilliant example. He's saying take sun and moon together now. Okay. So sun and moon, you know, the moon cannot illumine the sun, he said. Can it do that? No. Sun is self-effulgent. In fact, the light of the moon is coming from the sun only. That's how we have to look at it. That I cannot illumine that Brahman, but everything that you see illumined, the power is coming from there. So uske piche ye sab ho raha hai. Okay? It is the power behind everything. That's how we have to look at it. And then in भगवद गीता जो वर्स आने वाला है, उसमें भी भगवान ने यही कहा, ऐसे ही समझाया है सभी को, अर्जुन को, कि जितने भी सोर्स ऑफ लाइट तुम देख रहे हो इस दुनिया में, एंड ही सेड द एग्जैक्टली सेम थिंग, सन, मून, स्टार्स, विद्युत and the you know, fire, all of that is coming from me only. That's how simply he put it, but this is how this verse is. Okay, so then there is Tejomay Energy try to explain in another way, how does it apply to me, because that's also very important, right? So there is, it seems there is something called one shloki vedant. एक श्लोक का वेदांत है कोई, और उसका भाव ये है, I don't know where it is, but he talked about it, so I will discuss it because maybe it will make it clear. He's saying that, you know, there's a confusion in the शिष्य के mind में. तो शंकराचार्य जी ने उनको पूछा कि how do you see things in this world, right? Simple question. You don't have to go deep in Vedanta, experience से बताओ. How do you see this, everything in the world? So he thought about it and he said, I see, in the daytime, I see everything in sunlight. So that's what we discuss, you know. And then what happens in the evening? Oh, when the moon comes out, I see things in moonlight. And then, you know, same, all the things that, you know, lamp light and this light and all that. So he's saying that, but I asked you, how do you see it? Go a little deeper. So he said, oh, I see it with my eyes. राइट अगर मैं आंखें बंद कर लूं तो कितना भी जोर से सन बाहर निकला हो या कोई पर्दा लगा लूं और I can't see. If I close my eyes, I cannot see. So hey, I'm seeing it with my eyes actually. Oh, okay, you're seeing it with your eyes. So there is a light in your eyes. Okay, see कहाँ लेके जा रहे हैं उसको? Okay. So he said, oh no, actually I'm seeing it with my mind. है कि नहीं? माइंड तक पहुंच गए अभी, बिकॉज अगर आंख माइंड से कनेक्टेड नहीं होगी, खाली इंस्ट्रूमेंट है और माइंड से कनेक्टेड नहीं है, वो देख ही नहीं पाएगा. इफ देयर इज सम नर्व दैट गोज टू द ब्रेन एंड इट गेट्स कट ऑफ, यू कांट सी, नो मैटर हाउ मच योर आईज आर परफेक्ट. सो हे, द माइंड इज द वन इज सीइंग. देन ही इज गोइंग टू टेक हिम, अच्छा यू सी इट विथ योर आईज, व्हाई डोंट यू क्लोज योर आईज राइट नाउ? सो ही क्लोज. डू यू सी एनीथिंग? oh, I still see. Because जो भी हम imagine करते हैं, we see it. है कि नहीं? Then how do you see the dream? Hello? There's no light there. We discussed that. The verse already came into Kathoupanishad. How are you seeing the dream? You say, oh, that is a light of awareness, you can call it. है कि नहीं? So he's saying that, is somebody else telling you that to be aware of this? Hey, every day does somebody come and say, hey, you be aware of this, and then I'm aware. It is self-awareness. Nobody's telling me I'm aware of it. See that what he's coming to it? That self-awareness, he's calling it as Chaitanya Swarup Jyoti, that you are. That's what he's bringing. I thought this was a very significant way he explained that awareness that we have, it is self-awareness. Nobody has planted it in us. Nobody's telling us about it, but we are aware of it like that. So this is the summary basically of this particular thing. Okay? And so the final illuminator is this Brahman, jiske piche anubhati sarvam no, after it everything shines. That is a primary. Uske, jaise Surya is the primary, uske Chandrama and other people borrow it in our solar system. It borrows it from the same way he's talking about that. Okay? And let's see if there's any other point that I missed. Yeah, and so this self-illuminating factor is something that we have to put our mind at, that it does not need any other source because it's self-illuminating. Exactly like from worldly example would be the sun is self-illuminating. I cannot see sun in any other light. It has its own light. So then come back to the Brahman and then. So what Tejomayananji was trying to tell us, that where does Vedanta fit in all this to do? It's removing our ignorance. And when you ignore the ignorance, the knowledge comes, it is self-shining. So you don't need anything else. That's what he's saying. The job of Vedanta is nothing more. It's not bringing God from somewhere. It's just removing your ignorance. And he's saying that once you know this, all the saints and sages' ka job is done. And the Shastra's ka job is done. There's no other job is left, you know. So he's saying that once you know this, then you will say, there is a verse before we say tad etad iti manyate. Then I can say that, hey, I see this, and nobody else need to tell me this because this is my own experience. Okay. So he's saying that basically that eklokish kind of he talked about ek shloki Vedanta. I like the way he explained it. That, you know, you come back to this awareness, which is self-awareness, and nobody is there to put it in you are self-aware of yourself, you know. So just go back to that awareness. It's a little subtle thing, but I hope that I tried to do my best, and we can read Swamiji's commentary. But any question or comment? Okay, who would like to read? Sushilji, did you want to read? Yeah.
I can read here.
Yeah.
The sun does not shine there, nor does the moon, nor do the stars, nor the lightnings, and much less the fire. When he shines, everything shines after him. By his light, all these shine.
So everybody understood that, yeah.
But that, 3 Hours Cinema Mission, they have this thing that by his light, all else shines.
Right.
So, even today, long after we have forgotten our own great Bible, the Upanishads, we are hearing this mantra almost every day repeated in all temples and pujas. Since no ritual is generally concluded without chanting this mantra, soon after the common and well-known arti, none of the devotees or the pandits have ever come to really understand the message of this stanza, except probably some who have a surface knowledge of its mere word meaning. Our religion has become hollow and without any significance to us because of our unintelligent way of living our religion. A mere parrot-like repetition of stanzas in a language unknown to us without seeking to understand its meaning in itself will not and cannot give benefit at all. There are some karmakandins and orthodox monsters who claim all powers to mantras and kirtanas merely repeated. Even if one repeating them knows not their meaning, nor understand their significance. Chinmaya cannot subscribe to this false, unintelligent, hypocritical nonsense. Were it true, why not applaud gramophone box for the beauty of the song it had sung, or pat the shoulders of your radio box, congratulating it for the talk it has relayed to you?
My God, Swamiji really blasted everybody to the nth degree. Because I was just thinking about it. I literally grew up like that. I didn't know anything about, they were just and the Pandit, when they come and start chanting in North India, itna chanting, I should not criticize. That's a bad thing I'll be doing. Because itna uski tang tod dete. You don't even know what they're saying. Like our wedding mantras. Did anybody knew the meaning when we had the wedding? Thank God here now when they do the wedding, they actually tell you the meaning. I learned a lot more attending the weddings in America because they were educated and they were trying to tell us what it is. It was so beautiful. Then you remember, oh my God, those are the vows I took. I didn't even know what I was just. So it's just blasting him, saying that, by itself, mantras are not going to, sound vibration is there and all. Maybe kuch hoga science, usme, there's no doubt. But imagine if you know the meaning. Jinka wo purpose liya hua hai, because this particular verse that he's talking about, if you don't know the meaning and if you're just doing arti, it's not going to sink into you. What is the thing? It taking you to the highest level. So we have all gone through it about this. So I think that's why I think whoever is connecting to this class is because we are going word by word and trying to understand deeply, and it's making a difference in our lives, knowing this. That's why we are doing this.
There, Lord Death is indicating here the realm of self, which is land of knowledge, absolute. In that plane of divided God consciousness, there's no need for another agent of life to illuminate.
Is it say divine consciousness, right?
It says God consciousness in my...
Oh, okay. It's the same thing. Okay. Divine God consciousness. Okay. Mm-hmm.
All the sources of physical light are denied in the dream of truth with this mantra, wherein Lord Death says that there is neither the sun, nor the moon, nor the stars, nor the lightning, and as such, where can be the light of fire? In short, there is in this light no other light other than itself. In the sun, there's no need for a torch to illuminate.
So we discuss this in detail. Basically, he's saying this physical light has no reach over there because that's what gives power to the physical light. Just if we can remember that, we are good. Yeah.
Anubhati shines after. Truth is the substratum for all the seeming activities of life. Where life is extinct, the activities of the sense organs, mind, and intellect are also at the end. And when these three entities in man have folded themselves and, as it were, rolled out to that individual, there's no more the sun, the moon, the lightning, or the light of the fire. So long as life is in him, he recognizes all the sources of light in physical world. Naturally, it is philosophically evident, and logically it can be maintained that the giver of all light, for the sun and other sources of the light, is none other than the intelligence of the intellect, the self. Hence, Lord Death says that all shines after it. By its light, all these shine.
So we again discussed all that, and basically saying that everything is because of that Brahman. It's the substratum for all, and where the life is extinct and no activities of sense, organ, mind, and intellect. Remember, we talked about it, that the subtle body and the physical body connect with each other, and the Brahman is shining in the reflecting in the subtle body. That's why we feel alive as in our physical body. So all that, whatever we have learned, it is all coming over here together. And when they're talking about the light, don't look at it as a physical light of awareness that we have discussed, that because even when in the dream we see things, even when we close our eyes we can imagine things, and that's part of that awareness and all that. So that's how we have to look at it. That's why he said none other than the intelligence of the intellect. That's what he's talking about. So many things come under this.
Now that we know the real significance of the stanza, it must be possible for each of us to think for ourselves the voiceless depth of self-evident suggestions in ordering this mantra to be repeated at the close of every Hindu ritual and sacred religious ceremony. The importance of the stanza is again emphasized in the fact that the same stanza has been repeated in 2 more Upanishads of the 10 important ones. Though in silently different words, we have the same transcendental idea that the self is the source of all light, hinted at in the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
So 2, I guess, Upanishads are the Mundaka Upanishad and Shweta Upanishads.
It's called Shvetashwar. Shvetashwar was, it seems that one of the rishis' name was Shvetashwar, and it is his conversation with him. So उन्होंने मेरे बुक में तो नंबर भी दिया हुआ है. It is Shvetashwar में, it is 6th chapter 14th verse, and in Mundaka, किसी के पास हो वो तो they can check it out. And in Mundaka Upanishad it's chapter 11 to 10, and then Bhagavad Gita, it says over there, chapter 15 verse 6, I think it's verse 12, but anyway, it's there. It's exact similar verses that hail the light of all this. Is when we do it will come across it. And in mine there is one more sentence that verse 15 shows how self is the existence principle that lends to every other object their existing illumination. So no other light can illumine the light in all lights. There is one Upanishad जिसमें कुछ ऐसा भाव है, एक वर्स है कि ब्रह्मन की पहुंच, जहां तुम पहुंचे हो ना, वो पहले से ही बैठा हुआ है वहां पे. वो पहले से ही पहुंचा हुआ है. सॉरी, द वर्ड सेज वो पहले से ही पहुंचा हुआ है. So it's like somebody was saying that even when I see something from my eyes, there is a delay. है कि नहीं? Life is always ahead of you. It can be a split second, but it takes time to process, ना, because the रोशनी आई, मेरे आँख में से गई, मेरे ब्रेन में गई, फिर process हुआ, फिर मेरे को दिखेगा, ओ ये है, वो तो पहले से ही है वहाँ पे. See what I'm saying? We don't think about the scientific facts. You can never catch up with life because always ahead of you. It is number one. That's why it's called one and only. Very, very deep contemplation for this. I can see Meena ji smiling because it's like...
No, I mean, but it is so true, because if you start from the very fact that what is the world made of, universe made of the 5 elements, to start off with, that is life, and then the 5 elements come later just to explain the creation, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what and fire is one of them, is one of the 5 elements. My question was something with the previous verse and this one. He says in this one, the previous verse ended with, in the next mantra we have the answer to the question, he says, right? Mm-hmm. But he answers him in the 2 verses before finishing the last verse. He explains, it is a case of self becoming aware of itself.
Yeah.
The question, so my question is, there is nothing left because they explained.
It's one of those things. There's a lot of repetition in Vedanta. Hammering again and again and again. And even Bhagavad Gita, whatever Krishna Bhagavan wanted to say, he said it in chapter 2. But again he repeated the same idea with another slight angle, with another thing. Abhi उन्होंने बोला कि Brahman क्या है उन्होंने explain कर दिया chapter 2 में. There are so many verses, there's verse 16, that जो real है वो हमेशा रहेगा, unreal always keeps changing, all of that. And then how the soul is going from one body to another body and all, everything he talked about. But then he said, okay, meditate on the self. Are we able to meditate? No. Then he goes go next 6 chapters explaining what Brahman is in more and more detail. So it's the same thing over here. They have already said it, but now they are saying it and, some more, hammering it a little more.
No, but then I thought of it. Tatvamasi. When we talk about that, or we talk about, this is like Atman iti Brahman. Because Atman is, I kept on thinking about these 2 verses quite a bit. In Atman is what they're indicating with the one person. And then he's telling in the 14th verse, to me it was, and I want clarification from you, the 14th verse, he says about this self, this is about within oneself, and that is the Atman. And that's where it comes in as it's a case of the self becoming aware of itself. And then we become with the Brahman, Atman iti Brahman. Brahman is in the 15th Shloka verse, where we talk about all outside.
He's talking about both, not just, okay, this is how it is. If you want to go back to 14 and 15, just let's go to the root of it. 14 was what? This is, what you call, Yamraj is saying, they perceive that indescribable highest bliss as this is that. How shall I know that? Because we discuss why they are asking. Because on one hand, he's saying indescribable. तुम उसकी परिभाषा ही नहीं कर सकते हो, तुम उसको समझा नहीं सकते हो. फिर वो लोग, how did that guy get it? Did he get it because it is self-shining, or is the light is coming from somewhere else? That was the question. Right? So now the question he's answering, all he's saying it is self-shining. But it is saying in a poetic manner.
But what I'm trying to say is, even in the 14th shloka itself, they said in the last 2 verses.
You mean last words? What did they say? What did they say in the 14th verse? You read it, the translation.
No, I agree with you there. I agree what you're saying. But in the last verse of the last paragraph.
You mean talking about that is Swamiji's explanation. But if I'm going to the core of what the question 14 was, because sometimes Swamiji will take, when he's explaining, he might already bring the concept of 15 in the 14 when he's giving his commentary.
Right, because I think that's how I felt.
He already gave the answers. True.
He gave the answer. Yeah. Then he says, okay, in the next mantra, we have the answer to the question raised.
Yeah, but if you go purely by what Yamraj is talking about, then it fits the 15. And you are just saying the Swamiji already answered, because as a Vedantic student, we already know this. Do we know this or not by now? That, hey,
no,
that
we do know it. But
yeah, he's telling you that how this Upanishad is unfolding. Because now you think about Nachiketa. When Nachiketa is the one who is learning, but through Nachiketa we are learning. Just the same way like Arjun and Krishna Bhagwan. किसी ने बोला कि अर्जुन को अगर खाली देना होता तो फिर वो संजय क्यों सुनता और हमको क्यों सुनाता सबको? Through Arjun he is talking to us only. Arjun is just a medium. So that's how we have to look at it. That hey, they are having a conversation, but we are benefiting from this conversation. So the thing is that sometimes we can read the entire Bhagavad Gita you will get maybe 10%, 20%. Then next time you read again, then you might get 30, 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's what it is. So even knowing this much, we have not become self-realized, all of us. At least I have not, I know. so I got to read it. But you get more convinced. You get more convinced about it.
I had to convince myself,
yes.
I think, and that's what I was.
Yeah, अगर कोई मुझे 20-30 साल पहले पूछता is there a reincarnation or not, I would say I don't know. कभी मुझे अभी पूछेगा तो मैं ठोक बजा के बोलूँगी it is there. And they say, how do you know? I don't care whether you want to believe it or not. I do believe it. Yeah, and nobody can, come and change my mind now anymore. After reading so many times Bhagavad Gita, this and that, I'm so convinced. So from that perspective, in my awareness, it is there now. That, hey, that it is true. And that's why, when somebody dies or anything, I might miss them, I will feel bad, but I'm not going to get totally depressed about it. I'm going to say, what, that person has gone on his journey. I'm lucky that I had that much connection with them for so many years, but for them, that's better, whatever they are doing, because this is their next step,
Right.
So there are so many worldly benefits that come out of it. I lost my father and mother also. And I am, right now when I think about it, I'm happy for them because they led a full life. And, they taught us many things. We had that connection, but now they are in their journey.
Right.
So.
Thank you.
Any other question or comment anybody has? Want to add anything? This is a pretty powerful, this is like the ultimate actually. Now the next Valli is more about practices and opening it up more and more, because that's how I told you that how the Upanishad functions. It gives you the highest knowledge first, then it comes down, because okay, ये थोड़ा सा doubt कहीं बचा होगा वो भी clear हो जाएगा, So everybody okay with this now? Anybody has anything? Okay, then I'll close the class here, and then if anybody has any other thing, we can do it in the discussion time. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Okay, if not, then we can meet next time. I guess this is a lot deeper. Yes, did you have it, Urmilji?
Umaji, no, you said you will get this book for me. So can I pick it up from your house?
Yeah. Once I get it, so I go there to Chinmaya Mission on Sundays. So
Okay.
Because of COVID and all that, there are few things in short supply. So I'm not sure, but I will keep in touch with you. I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So this Sunday when I go, I'll pick it up. Yeah. Yeah, Sheila ji.
I have it. I was reading previous verses because I missed when my son was getting married. I want to put a little bit more light on the ego.
Oh, what is ego?
Like in our life, in my life, what is ego mean? What is the real, how we explain ego? Because
See, when we use ego into the local language, we think that somebody is very proud of something, has a big ego, right? When it comes to the Vedantic definition of ego is because of our ignorance, I think I'm separate from God. And when the way I function, I separate myself because I don't have that knowledge that I'm one. And the one we talk about is like space. I have a room space and I have a balcony space and there is outside space, and I think it's different. I think this is mine. But actually space is one. You can't cut it, right? So when I say ego, it's a part of the ignorance. It doesn't have any real value in it because actually you are that Brahman, but you think you're not.
I see.
That's what it is, Vedantic definition of ego. Yeah. And then ego so that's why, when you bring it to the worldly level, oh, I don't have this or I have this, both come under ego because both are part of ignorance.
Yeah, worldly concept is understandable, but like Vedantic, you
Yeah.
very, very good in one line, very good.
So
Then I-
जैसे जैसे हम भगवान से जुड़ते जाएंगे ना तो वो ईगो कम होता जाएगा और फिर पूरा डिसॉल्व तभी होगा जब सेल्फ रियलाइज कोई हो जाता है, तब उसका पूरा ईगो डिसॉल्व हो जाता है.
how much they might have felt, how they felt when they get self-realization.
That it's a complete bliss. And then I'm going to put that that talk that I saw on about this person who had an experience of that oneness, how he describes it. He describes the joy and happiness and love and all that. You can see in his face, and he doesn't know how to describe, but he's still describing it. And he has not read Bhagavad Gita, so that's why you'll appreciate it, what he's saying. So that realm exists. I know that.
Sometimes I think about that.
So because they don't know how to say it, they will say, the सारी दुनिया की सारी खुशी ले लो और उसको फिर multiply कर दो 100 times, million times. That's what it is. We don't know what it is. In unlimited. When something is unlimited, you don't have to worry about it then. Why do we worry about to hoard and do this? Oh, खत्म हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. कोई बोलेगा ये कभी खत्म हो ही नहीं सकता. Then you will relax and enjoy life, right? We have a fear.
Very fear. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, मेरा स्टॉक मार्केट में मनी सारा वेस्ट खत्म हो जाएगा, मेरा घर में आग लग जाएगी, क्या पता क्या क्या. Fear, there is no, somebody will steal something, or COVID is going to destroy everything and everybody will die, nuclear blast will happen. God knows. I mean, there are a million things. किसी ने बोला nothing is going to happen to you. You are perfect and you will remain. You're just playing some little drama. Then you're not going to worry about anything.
Thank you very much, Magic. Yeah.
So, yeah, on that note, can we close today? Yeah, go ahead.
One is at the end of our most of the Chinmaya Mission lectures and all that. At the end, they talk about the Swam Purnamada Purnamibhati. Can you take some time to explain that in some future?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Why don't we do that like at the discussion time next time? I will make a note of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank
I'll
you.
do that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody. Hari Om. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.